this entire summer, over the past few months, we were promised that the Toronto Raptors were going to be competitive, that this team would play with a defensive intensity that would put fear into the opponents that they faced up against. We were promised that the Raptors were finally going to be competitive again, not looking to tank, not looking to tear up this roster and tank the back end of the season and try to get a top draft pick. We were promised that this is the year that, no, not necessarily we're in a championship, being like the Blue Jays, making the finals, all that type of stuff. It's not that, but we were going to be on the up and up. Raptors fans have been watching just absolutely disheartening, ugly, annoying basketball to watch for the past 2 seasons. And finally, it feels like a fever dream because I wanted everything to believe in this. I wanted everything to be able to come in, watch the Toronto Raptors and have some excitement, have something to root for, have a team that can go out there on the court and not embarrass us as fans of this squad. And we got all of that and more. The promises were true. This group, the prophecy of Brandon Ingram coming into the mix and being an elite star for this team. Scottie Barnes attacking the rim, being aggressive, finishing around the basket, and using that elite court vision to get some buckets out there the basket. RJ Barrett being the dude that I've been yapping about this entire season about not wanting to trade, not wanting to deal away, starting the movement, about him being our elite 2-guard out there on this squad. Grady Dick coming into his own as a young Raptors prospect, knocking down shots, whether they be out behind the three-point line, in the midi, all that stuff. It is all coming together, and yes, there's going to be some difficulties. I'll talk about this year, what our expectations and stuff we could see, but we needed to be promised something as Toronto Raptors fans, that this wasn't fake, that this pairing of Scottie Barnes, Brandon Ingram isn't going to be as clunky as the Bill Simmons of the world are pitching and all that stuff, and the Toronto Raptors absolutely delivered on their promise and proved that this can work. Will it 82 games out of 82 games? No, but we saw it can work, and if this works more nights than not, the NBA is going to be horrified because we just faced off against a good Atlanta Hawks team, and we beat them 118 to 138. That's right, 20 points, and it was more. Watching this game, we were live out there watching this game out there. I appreciate everyone that's been in the live stream and stuff, but the Toronto Raptors came out and slapped around the Atlanta Hawks. It was just, from start to finish, the Raptors had this game in hand on both the offense and defensive end. I first want to talk about the defensive end because, Darko Rajaković has been talking about this the entire night. We'll talk about all these players, but everyone was locked in, whether it was, the guys you'd expect, the Ochai Abaji's, the Scottie Barnes, those, Yakob Poeltl out there in the paint, the guys you expect. RJ Barrett was locked in, getting steals, doing this type of stuff. Brandon Ingram this man has shockingly long arms. This man is getting boards. This man was really just impressing me with the impact, the level of effort he did, not just on the defensive end, but getting rebounds. Some people lump those things in together. But Darko Rajaković has this team motivated, has this team locked in, and frankly, that's what I was expecting. And, all the promises, the one that I believed is the Raptors would have a very competitive defense. That is something that I believed in my heart of hearts coming into this one. The one that we had questions about and questions arise during preseason was, hey, what the heck is this team going to do on offense? Will it fit? Will it gel and all that? The last game in preseason against the Brooklyn Nets gave some very encouraging signs, but this game right here really just has me excited. What went on? Well, Brandon Ingram had 16 points in this game. The second half was a little bit more ugly for Brandon Ingram and stuff, had some turnovers and all that, but really when things were rolling, when things were needed, when things were necessary for Ingram, he delivered and, had 9 rebounds in this one. As said, he brought the effort out there on the rebounding side. The basketball court, had 2 steals in this game and 3 assists. If a few of these open shots were actually made, that would have been, 5 or 6 assists there for Brandon Ingram. But he really played within himself, missed some shots, had some turnovers in the second half. But overall, I thought was a phenomenal performance. But our guy, I've been bringing him up a ton, RJ Barrett, put some respect on this guy's name because everything that, Darko was talking about, Bobby Webster was talking about regarding RJ Barrett was, yes, he's talented. Yes, he can do this. Yes, he can do that. But efficiency. How efficient can RJ Barrett be? How effective can he be out there on the court playing within the system? And tonight, I don't know if he could have had a better game with what the Raptors are hoping to get out of RJ Barrett because in 30 minutes was 9 of 12 shooting from the field. 2 of 4 from the three-point line. So only took 12 shots, had 25 points, had 8 rebounds, had 5 assists, 2 steals, and was just a menace. Was just really locked in both sides of the court, doing everything that you could ask for out there for RJ Barrett, playing out there for this team. And man, like, everyone's talking about trading the guy, his contract and stuff. He is too good to be traded in the packages that have been thrown out, have been discussed, and tossed around out there on the open market. So we got to shut that down immediately. I've said this the entire summer, but seeing it on the court is exactly what you want to talk about. And I haven't really ranted about this too much, but Scottie Barnes, the fact that we're, 5.5 minutes in this video, and we haven't talked about Scottie Barnes just yet, he's our guy, right? He's been the face. He's the face of the franchise. Brandon Ingram, Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett, who's the best player, whatever. Scottie Barnes is the face of this team here now at this point. And it is clear that in this game, man, Scottie Barnes was playing the right way. He was playing the way that you needed to. Because, in this one, you take a look at the stats, right? Scottie Barnes was just attacking the rim at will. Didn't take one single three, was getting paint touches, it felt like every single possession, whether it be via post-ups, whether it be blowing past a defender that's closing out on him. And he had 22 points, had 6 rebounds, and 9 assists in this game. I cannot stress enough how well Scottie Barnes was getting paint touches, and whether it was kicking out to three-point shooters for completely wide open threes, and it wasn't just these basic kickouts. He was making really great decisions, whether it was skip passes, whether it was doing a 180, throwing it back out to the guy that would be open. Great decisions there, but also made some great, just quick decisions, passes to cutters out there in that mid-post area, as well as people sliding in the dunker spot. He was just really, really effective of getting the mid-post, drawing the defenders, and making those dunker passes. So that is what you like to see out there from Scottie Barnes. Amazing stuff. Exactly the style of play that you're looking for Scottie Barnes, and the reason that he was given the reins to this team. And I got to give credit to Yakob Poeltl as well, because dealt with injuries and preseason concerns were going on there, end up fouling out of this game. All that is what it is. 22 minutes of action, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. When he is out there on the basketball court, man, the defense is just, it's a next level, because he gets rebounds, he gets those shots. People stepped up in the rebounding category because, of course, Poeltl only played 22 minutes in this one, but I cannot overstate enough how important Yakob Poeltl is to this team, right? With Immanuel being your only real backup center, especially with CMB out. Of course, Mogul can play that position. I thought he played well today, but Poeltl is so important for this team, man, and he was just really effective for this group. So, shout out to Big Yak doing his thing out there, and the big other, standout guy in this game was, of course, Grady Dick, who just was next level in terms of his three-point shots, in terms of his confidence, getting in that mid-range area, had that ugly first game of preseason. Other than that, he has been a monster out there on the basketball court, proven to be the sixth man for this team, exactly what you're looking for. 6 of 10 shooting from the field, 21 points, knocked down 2 threes, got to the free throw line a ton, got 8 free throws in this game in a night where the whistle was just horrific for the Toronto Raptors. So Grady Dick was getting the basket, getting the spots you want, plus 18 for this game. And the bench lineups, like Darko Rajaković was running some really nice just rotations, playing Scottie Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Jamal Shead, all these guys together in unison. It was really just a well-coached game, a well-rounded game and stuff, and I mentioned him right there. Jamal Shead needs to be discussed, needs to be brought up, needs to be talked about, given some love, because, again, you look at the box score, you might never say Jamal Shead is that guy, is that dude out there for this team. I don't even have a picture of him. I don't even have a picture of him taken up. But Jamal Shead in this one, for the bench unit, whether he was running with the bench, whether he was running with the starters, Jamal Shead was confident, he was poised, he was making great decisions, and he knocked down his threes. He was talking, he's taking a look at those shots. Jamal Shead in this game had 10 points, had 5 assists, 2 rebounds, was aggressive defense out there on Trae Young, who, Trae Young, of course, got a few floaters and stuff, but 22 points, 1 of 7 from the three-point line. A part of that was the aggressive defense the Raptors are playing. Shead should be recognized for that, but I don't know, man. The team looks so good with Jamal Shead out there running the point. It looks so good with him orchestrating, getting people in the right place and all that type of stuff. So I'm a Shead head. I love this man. Lots of respect there. And speaking of the point guard position, Immanuel Quickley did not knock down his shots. He missed a lot of open threes, and we know Immanuel Quickley is a good three-point shooter. He's had games like this over the past couple of seasons, but what I like about Immanuel Quickley's game, when his 3 is not going, he still takes them. He went 1 for 7, over 7, from the three-point line in this game, but he has an ability to slash. He has the ability to get to the rim, and he looked more explosive than I've seen him in previous years out there for the Toronto Raptors. He looked explosive in this game, diving the basket, finish around the bucket, which is great to see. Had 8 assists, had 4 rebounds. Again, you're going to need him to knock down those 3-point shots when you're playing against teams that, again, the Atlanta Hawks are actually really good. I have the Hawks up with the Toronto Raptors, competing with the Toronto Raptors for this in this upcoming season, but IQ's got to knock down his threes for this team to be effective, but of course, I thought he was really, really good in other areas for this game today. So great stuff there for this entire roster, man. Mamukashvili dealt with some foul trouble and stuff, so that does have to be brought up because if he's going to be the backup center, teams are going to attack him. He's more of a 4 in my opinion, just watching him play. But I thought he did well. Was dribbling the basketball a little bit, confident in his 3-point shot, had some dunks, had some great cuts. He is going to fit in really, really nicely with this team. But perfect. Couldn't ask for a better start to the season for the Toronto Raptors. So amazing stuff there for this team. The Raptors do have a tough schedule coming up. That's why this win was super big. This game on Friday is going to be very, very big for the Toronto Raptors playing against the Milwaukee Bucks. So, important stuff happening there. But we'll see. We'll see how the Raptors do. I'm, proponent. I think we're going to be a top 6 seed out there in the Eastern Conference this season. Top 2, not 2. But, you face off against the Dallas Mavericks, who are going to be a competitive team this year. The San Antonio Spurs, who have Victor Wembanyama. I don't know if they lost in preseason. The Rockets just took the Thunder to a very, very competitive, the champions, a very competitive game. Then you face off against the Grizzlies, the Bucks. There's no easy games out there to start off this season. So you really got to lock in. You got to grind and get these W's as much as possible. So big win for the Raptors in this one. Appreciate every single one of you that tuned into the live stream, that tuned into this video. Subscribe to the channel. We're on that road to 39,000 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.